Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Today we look at Genesis 35 and 36. These are a little bit longer, but I think we can put them both on the same episode. And besides, every part of the Bible deserves our attention. Genesis chapter 35. God said to Jacob, "Arise, go up to Bethel and remain there, and build an altar to the God who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau." So Jacob said to his household and all who were with him, "Rid yourselves of the alien gods in your midst. Purify yourself and change your clothes. Come, let us go up to Bethel, and I will build an altar there to the God who answered me when I was in distress, and who has been with me wherever I have gone." They gave to Jacob all the alien gods that they had, and the rings that were in their ears, and Jacob buried them under the terebinth tent that was near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from God fell on the cities round about, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. Thus Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. There he built an altar and named the site El Bethel, for it was there that God had revealed himself to them when he was fleeing from his brothers. Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried under the oak below Bethel, and so it was named Alon Bakuth. God appeared again to Jacob on his arrival from Padan Aram, and he blessed him. God said to him, "You, whose name is Jacob, shall be called Jacob no more, but Israel shall be your name." Thus he named him Israel. And God said to him, "I am El Shaddai, be fertile and increase. A nation, yea, an assembly of nations shall descend from you. Kings shall issue from your loins. The land that I assigned to Abraham and Isaac I assign to you, and to your offspring to come will I assign the land." God parted from him at the spot where he had spoken to him. And Jacob set up a pillar on the site where he had spoken to him, a pillar of stone, and he offered a libation on it and poured oil upon it. Jacob gave the site where God had spoken him the name of Bethel. They set out from Bethel, but when they were still some distance short of Ephrath, Rachel was in childbirth, and she had hard labor. When her labor was at its hardest, the midwife said to her, "Have no fear, for it is another boy for you." But as she breathed her last, for she was dying, she named him Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. Then Rachel died. She was buried on the road to Ephrath, now Bethlehem. All over her grave Jacob set up a pillar. It is the pillar at Rachel's grave to this day. Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond Migdal Eder. When Israel stayed in the land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel found out. Now the sons of Jacob were 12 in number, the sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, the sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin, the son of Bilhah, Rachel's maid, Dan and Naphtali, and the son of Ziplah, Leah's maid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, now Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned. Isaac was 180 years old when he breathed his last and died. He was gathered to his kin in ripe old age and was buried by his sons Esau and Jacob. So, chapter 36, God wants Jacob to go to Bethel, which is great, but Bethel hasn't been named yet. But Jacob somehow knows where it is. But when he gets there, God is waiting for him. Well, more accurately, God appears to him and says, "Okay, your name is no longer Jacob. You're now Yisrael. And, going to give you many children, blah, 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 all the sort of some usual blessings that go along with it." But this is where the idea of Israel gets its name. That we are all the children of Jacob, in one way or another. God also again calls himself El Shaddai. Now, this is traditionally referred to or interpreted as God Almighty, but it doesn't really have a true meaning. So it's just one of those terms that we have to accept the interpretation that we're given because we don't have anything better. They mentioned Isaac again. Sorry, let's put that on hold for a second. Rachel dies in childbirth, and Israel renames her son because Ben Ayon is son of my suffering, whereas Benjamin, Ja is a very unusual word in Hebrew. There's not many words that use the J sound. That changes it to son of my joy. And it's a small thing, but it's really common in most languages for two similar words to mean completely different things. I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole linguistics argument, and we don't have a ton of time. So here we are, and Jacob loses his wife, gains a son, loses his father. Now, if you might remember, Jacob was dying before Israel was, let me try that again. Isaac was dying before Jacob took off. He was on his last legs and said, Esau, my son, get a meal for me. And that's when Jacob swept in and took the blessing. So he got the firstborn, the blessing. And Isaac was dying back then. And Jacob's worked 7 years for Leah, 7 years for Rachel, and another 7 years, we assume, it's never really specified, for all the asses, the she-asses, the milk cows, and all the other things that Laban gave him. So, for a guy who's dying, he's lived an additional 21 years at least, assuming that the two are relatively close together. And it does appear they are close together, because Laban disappears, and Jacob is back in touch with Esau in the same chapter. So either we got a little bit of time distortion happening here, or Laban is not really far away. It doesn't describe Jacob being hungry or starving or having to work his way on his way over, so it does seem that they are a couple days' travel at the most. Nevertheless, here we are burying Isaac at last, with an additional 21 years on his life. We don't know what happened to Isaac's wife. We don't know anything because that's not very important to the story. We're not going to worry about that. Just a lot of family tragedy in this chapter. But the one thing, again, I probably should have put a warning at the beginning of the chapter, is Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine. And this is the Bilhah that Rachel gave to him, and it's the mother of his brothers, Dan and Naphtali. Now, Reuben's the firstborn, and probably let's assume he would have been 17 or 18 when this came out. If Bilhah was relatively young as a servant, she might be in her 30s and 40s, so it is possible she was an attractive woman. But still, he has done the exact same sin that Ham is alleged to have done. And no matter what, it's kind of the incest thing that happens. No comeuppance will happen, but it appears that Israel does know about it, as we're going to find out later when it comes time for him to pass on. Not for a bit. We still got to go to Egypt. Remember, Genesis is how they get into Egypt. Exodus is how they get out. Let's go into chapter 36. This is another genealogical one, so yeah. This is a line of Esau, that is Edom. Esau took his wives from among the Canaanite women: Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite; Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, daughter of Zibeon the Hivite; and also Basemath, daughter of Ishmael, and sister of Nabaioth. Adah bore to Ishmael Eliphaz, Basmath bore Reuel, and Oholibamah bore Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the sons of Esau, which were born to him in the land of Canaan. So Esau took his wives, his sons and daughters, and all the members of his household, his cattle and all of his livestock, and all the property that he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to another land because of his brother Jacob. For their possessions were too many for them to dwell together. And the land where they sojourned could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau settled in the hill country of Seir, Esau being Edom. This, then, is the line of Esau, the ancestor of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Esau's Adah; Reuel, the son of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah was a concubine of Esau's son Eliphaz. She bore Amalek to Eliphaz. Those were the descendants of Esau's wife Adah. And these were the sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zerah, Shemath, and Mizah. These are the descendants of Esau's wife Basemath. And these are the sons of Esau's wife Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, daughter of Zibeon. She bore to Esau Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the clans of the children of Esau. The descendants of Esau's firstborn Eliphaz, the clans Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the clans of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These are the descendants of Adah. And these are the descendants of Esau's son Reuel. The clans Nahath, Zerah, Shema, and Mitzah. These are the clans of Reuel in the land of Edom. These are the descendants of Esau's wife Basemath. And these are the descendants of Esau's wife Oholibamah. The clans Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the clans of Esau's wife Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah. These were the sons of Esau, that is, Edom, and those were their clans. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, who settled in the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibkon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishah. These are the clans of the Horites, the descendants of Seir in the land of Edom. The sons of Lotai were Hori and Heman, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. The sons of Shobal were these: Alvan, Manhath, Elbah, Sepho, and Onam. The sons of Zibeon were these: Ayah and Anah. That was the Anah who discovered the hot springs in the wilderness while pasturing the asses of his father Zibeon. The children of Anah were Dishon and Anah's daughter Oholibamah. The sons of Dishon were these: Hebdan, Eshban, Ithrad, and Cheran. The sons of Ezer were these: Bilhan, Zaavan, and Akan. The sons of Dishon were these: Uz and Aran. These are the clans of the Horites, the clans Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These are the clans of the Horites, clan by clan, in the land of Seir. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of the city was Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, from Bozrah, succeeded him as king. When Jobab died, Husham of the land of the Temanites succeeded him as king. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, who defeated the Midianites in the country of Moab, succeeded him as king, and the name of his city was Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah, son of Mashkra, succeeded him as king. When Samlah died, Saul of Rehoboth on the river succeeded him as king. When Saul died, Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, succeeded him as king. When Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, died, Hadar succeeded him as king. The name of his city was Pu, and his wife's name Mehetabel, daughter of Matred, daughter of Mezahaba. These are the clans of Esau, each with its families and locality, name by name. The clans Timnah, Alva, Japheth, Olibama, Ela, Pinon, Kenaz, Timon, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the clans of Edom, that is, of Esau, the father of the Edomites, by the settlements in the land which they hold. Oh, that never gets easier. Okay, despite all the confusing names, and kudos to anybody who made it through that, these genealogy lists are never easy to work with. And yeah, it's easy to read it in your head. The second you start trying to do it out loud, it's an entirely other thing. Out of that, we can see that the Esau and his sons immediately assumed a kingship. Now, there were kings that we've encountered before this, but Esau said, yes, this is the best way to run a land, and he has enough wealth, like he told to his brother, that he's fine. He doesn't need gifts. But Jacob still sent him presents, and Esau, from him comes a great set of nations, the Edomites. You also see an interesting thing that may or may not indicate a lot of warfare. We see that when this person succeeds this person as king, please don't make me pronounce those names again, it happens a few times, the capital city seems to change at least 4 or 5 times. This echoes elsewhere in history. The Sumerians, the Akkadians, the Babylonians, they would switch their capital cities around because the heir to the throne was not necessarily the one with the oldest male heir. We don't have the same concept of primogeniture as we do today. And even today's primogeniture didn't really exist strictly. It would be the eldest son who would take over his father's land. So if your elder brother passed on, God forbid if you have an elder brother, blessings to them, but if they passed on, you would inherit the kingship because you were the next closest to the throne. And just as that your son might not inherit it, it might pass to your younger brother. There's also the possibility that this is hiding a lot of warfare. And it just says that this person succeeded this person. Well, succeeded just means you took over from the person before you. Now, all this being put together, we see that Esau and Jacob/Israel seem to be pretty much at peace with each other. Esau was happy to move away and into his own area to avoid conflict with his brother. Despite his brother's duplicity, shall we say, Esau is happy to go and establish lands for himself, even though they're not the best. He's recognizing his brother has the rights of the firstborn, and he's moving away to worry about his own family and his own blessing, etc., etc. He's established the nation of the Edomites, who are being prepared for a bigger role later on in the Bible. But we'll get to that. That always exhausts me. So thank you for tuning into the show today. We thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed this show, please hit like, share, and subscribe. We always appreciate feedback. You can leave it in the comments below, or you can tweet me at Silverlight Live. That's at Silverlight Live, all one word. Support the show. Buy a book. It's only 99 cents. That's less than a cup of coffee in a single day. And for that, you can get an ebook. If you want something hardcovered, they're usually less than $10 shipped to your doorstep. And most importantly, we hope you have a fantastic day.